Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. I hope you guys had a great week, and maybe some of you already had the day off yesterday with the bank holiday, and some others may have tried to trade the NFP. In my case, I actually took the day off. It was a lovely sunny day in Manchester, so I decided to just go and spend the day outside. And yes, so no NFP trades for me yesterday. I believe that the market basically died off soon after the news, and before that as well. It must have been quite dead. Overall, I think basically what the market has done over this week, something that we have been looking for, right? A little bit of the reversal on the dollar, of signs of reversal on the dollar to the upside. Last week you may have had a little bit of a confirmation with this break. Actually, this was this week still. Yeah, this break of a high in here was one of the first signs, even though then we actually managed to break the lows. But we may still be closing or getting close to maybe that reversal. It's interesting the way price has been moving. Are we going to go up from where we are, or are we still going to kind of create new lows before we do that? That's kind of the question. Of course, then looking at the other major FX pairs as well, it's something that we are going to look for. So, how many of you did try to trade yesterday? NFP. Or you just decided to literally not even pay attention to it and go do something else? Just let me know what was your approach yesterday to the news. Even Monday, right? Next Monday as well is going to be. It may actually be a little bit more active. It will be bank holiday in as many countries as it was last Friday, so we'll see. Maybe Monday is going to be a normal trading day, and yes, Monday I'll be a little bit more active. Hey Jack, welcome. Yeah, BTC really dead, right? I just paid attention yesterday a little bit in the evening of maybe how the market reacted to. I saw that Euro, for example, reacted from the level that I actually had marked. But yeah, aside from that, nothing much. So again, welcome guys, welcome to the live stream. I usually do it on Saturdays, a weekly market analysis, so basically forecasting key levels to look for the week ahead. Feel free to share your levels. We are doing this together, so if you do find any key levels that you are looking for, we can discuss those levels. I usually go from I like to analyze dollar index, and we go from S&P, NASDAQ, DAX as well is another index that we look at, and then the individual major FX pairs, and usually finish it with BTC and Ethereum as well. So if you do have any key levels that you are looking for next week, let's just write down on the comments, and we go through and we take a look into those levels. I'll share my opinion if I like it, if I don't like it, maybe I'm not even aware of it, and you help me to be aware of that key level, or the other way around. That's kind of how it works. Yeah. Then usually I do also a stream on Tuesdays, which I may not do it. I may stop for a while. I want to dedicate a little bit more time in my own trading as well. So I may. We'll see if the Tuesday stream is going to continue. I may do it every once in a while, but I may not be as regular. This one on Saturdays, I want to do it every Saturday. Thank you, man. Thank you, Jack. Yeah, go enjoy, man. Go enjoy the good weather outside as well. Thanks again. So yes, so this is where we were, right? So last week we saw, where did we start the week? It was on the 3rd, right? 3rd of April. So basically we started on Monday by breaking this lows in here. We tested from this supply level, and then we moved all the way to the downside, breaking out the structure, right? And this is something that you are looking for, to see how price would react around this level in here, if you kind of would break to the upside straight away from here, or by any chance you just continue to move down. Yes, price was reacting from initially a good level in here, and it was. That's why kind of we had this initial retracement or reaction from it. But if you remember, I was even open to the possibility of seeing price going below this low, somewhere closer to this level. So, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of where actually this low is reacting from on the left side. I may be missing something, looking a bit more left. Where are we? Where am I? This one. One second, I need to delete some of this stuff. Delete some of this stuff. Just to have a better idea exactly where this low goes to. It got really close there. Yeah, and you could maybe even react from this level into you, from this low, but not even that. So yeah, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of where this lower low on dollar index has actually reacted from. So I wouldn't mind to see a new low being created even before the final turn. But maybe this is enough. Maybe this is enough. It was literally all the way through this kind of small demand zone in there. This one already reacted a little bit from above that level. So we fake out this major low that we had in here, and we kind of turned. Personally, I would like to see price going a little bit closer to this level, somewhere in here before making that final move. I think price could go a little bit lower than where it is right now. However, we start having all this nice approach in here, right? This nice structure. Kind of managed to break a little bit this high, reacted straight away from the next one. So okay, price will go down. This one was an important level. If price had broken above this level, maybe these lows could still respect price. They didn't, just respected, and now it kind of ranged a little bit. It looked like these lows was still kind of holding until we finally had this strong move down, right? And it's always interesting to see. As I mentioned, usually when you do want to create that V shape, or to define where maybe that low spectrum of the V is when you have this strong move down. So you want to see a strong move down, the same way that if by any chance is a top, you want to see a strong move up. That's usually something that we like to pay attention to. And you had a little bit of this move in here. This one. So right, we turn, and now we start moving upwards. We had already actually liked to see this one. I think this was before some kind of news over this week. So this week that just passed, we had a lot of labor data coming out. Initially bad news, job openings, ADP non-farm payrolls, even the unemployment claims also was worse than expected. So we start having a little bit of negative data related to the labor market, which of course is something that we've been looking for and expecting after all the hikes. And I think I mentioned in the beginning of the year that most likely that will be the major key data point to look for. As we all know, last year in 2022, the major macro data that was coming out that the market was paying attention to, it was the CPI, right? The inflation. That's what the market was looking for. And I mentioned that this year it would start shifting towards the NFP, like towards the labor market, to the labor data. We had, even if you pay attention to how the market has been reacting since the beginning of the year, we basically have the beginning of the trends. They have started, or like few weeks trend or monthly trend, they started from NFP data. This was in January, this is on February, and this was in March, right? So 6th of February, somewhere in 6th of January, somewhere in February, and the 10th of March. This is basically when we had the NFP data, and as you can see, we trended for the remaining of the month into that direction in March, in February, and January. So let's see if by any chance, if this data from April is going to push dollar to the upside. Now this one, of course, because of all these bank holidays that occurred yesterday, it's a little bit tricky in the way price kind of moved. We didn't really had that much of a strength or reaction comparing even with the previous last 3 data. As you can see, strong move down, strong move up, really strong move down in that specific day. Yeah, the lack of active traders yesterday kind of made just this kind of a range in here. So let's see if by any chance, maybe that can be the indicator of where maybe price it wants to go to, but it may even go a little bit lower before making that turn on the dollar. And they're finally starting to have, even though NFP actually was a little bit higher than expected, the other data that came out during the week, it's starting to show a little bit of a shift, which can again lead to fear of recession and so on and so forth. I think at this point the market is pricing in another 25 basis points on the next meeting in the 2nd of May. And this week the other point is going to be the CPI. I think it's going to be Tuesday. That's basically the biggest catalyst of the week. So yes, looking at the technicals, I remember that I really like to see this break to the upside. Even before then, we had this last strong move down. This was interesting to see. On the other hand, we kind of left kind of this supply level still fresh, because this sign didn't really touch it, and we left this remaining supply left, which is basically where price reacted from yesterday. And we can use maybe now this level and literally look at this one as an engulf to the upside, but maybe still push price down one more time. We do have now this mid-range in here, and we created a new high. That's good news as well, because at this point, I started this analysis by saying that I would have liked, or I'm still open to the possibility of price breaking these lows and picking out that level before maybe the major turn. However, if you do start creating this mid-level range in here, as we are doing it right now, right, we start having all this structure, price getting rejected in here and moving upwards. So maybe this can be one of the final zones that can be used as a trap before price maybe making this, because this level in here, it looks like it may still be fresh. Something in here, when you had that fast move, I think it was Wednesday, with what was the date on Thursday? Job openings maybe, no, ADP, farm payroll, and the services PMI, I think that was the data, and you had that big shift. So yes, if you do kind of even break above this level, if you by any chance then go down, maybe price can just react from here now and then go higher, because this level in here starts to be super attractive for people to continue to look for longs. So price can maybe just fake out this level and go higher after that, and we already have way too many lower lows in here, kind of double lows, triple lows, kind of in alignment that can create enough liquidity in here. So let's see what's going to happen next week if you start having that move upwards on the dollar. Again, remember that in a bigger picture, at least myself, I kind of looking at this level as an engulf upwards in here, and that's why I would like to see, and I'm starting to see a little bit of that PI to show that reversal, instead of maybe as a continuation to the outside and eventually break these lows, actually to start noticing this kind of behavior. So let's see what's going to happen on the dollar index. Yes, price can go all the way through here. Maybe it can find a little bit more of some resistance again around this level. What looks compressed as price was going to downside. Price kind of had really nice retracements to take the previous supply and going down. Maybe a little bit in there. We still have this level in here, not so strong, in my opinion. Just to even fine tune, because this was with such a strong spike. Where can we try to find some key zones? Maybe in here, maybe somewhere in there. can be interesting. This level. Of course, the base or the touch of this, when you have these spikes in here, they can be really interesting. Maybe this one was already reacted by that one. And then, of course, all these left shoulders, they can still play some kind of role in here, right? When you have all these levels in here, for example, USD CAD, it's a great example of these levels working quite nicely as a zone for price to bounce and continue to move to the upside as we are breaking highs, retrace to those levels, and then they can go. Yeah, because in here, at least on 1 minute, there's nothing much to look for. Kind of, we had this previous level of supply, this is kind of the last supply. This price went down, retracement, it broke the supply to the upside and kind of made the flip of the direction somewhere in here, and you had to have this demand zone. Maybe this already touched that one, so we'll see. We'll see if this level is respected or if price wants to go even a little bit lower in there. Meanwhile, now the next level in here could be even within this zone. So let's see what's going to happen on the dollar index. Right, so it's at a good level. So let's see what the month of April is going to bring on the dollar index. Next, they're going to be looking at major indices. So let's take a look at S&P and NASDAQ. And what you can see in here is basically S&P, NASDAQ continuing to move to the upside, but it retraced a little bit over the week, sorry. Reacted a little bit from these highs. S&P just continued to move upwards. That's a little bit as expected. We do have this really nice upper trend line in here. Price is kind of respecting it. Key level for me in here, it will be this demand zone, kind of, which goes a little bit in alignment with the trend line. If this level is indeed broken, that's a good engulf to the downside. Doesn't mean that price will just feel the supply straight away. Could then go higher before actually the turn. But bigger picture, if you had been following me for a while, you know that I'm looking even for actually S&P to get closer to these highs all the way back in the middle of August. That's kind of the target that I'm looking for all this move upwards. This level is good enough. Price already reacted from it as much as it wanted to. We even respected all the way the extreme from these lows, so there was no engulf down in here to show maybe indication that price wants to go down under the test of these highs. We didn't really had that, so price respected it. Therefore, I may be expecting actually new highs in here on the S&P, which would make complete sense to me, since I'm kind of still looking for price. So I think there's still the possibility for price to go all the way through these levels. Now, something to be aware of, and this is where, in my opinion, it's different from the S&P and NASDAQ, is that 1 second. Perfect. Is that we do have this level in here, even if I draw that one, but if we do have kind of this level on S&P that is still fresh, because price, when it created that high in August, it never really went all the way through towards this level in here after the break of this, right? So there's a little bit of a spice in here, and this high never reacted from there. Just literally engulfed it a little bit, never reacted from there. So that's a little bit of an extra level that price may want to go to, and all this move to the upside. But I will first paying attention to how price is going to react from somewhere from this level before even trying to look even further. But I'm open to that possibility. So it's something that I'm aware of. I don't know why I deleted that one. So let's see if S&P is going to continue to move upwards, respecting this level, and just continue to go upwards. Something that I would like to see is on the approach to start noticing a bearish kind of bias to be created. I would love to see S&P to start breaking some lows as it moves to the upside, starting to show indication that eventually wants to go there. So then we can kind of create that manipulation to finally just go higher one last time and do something like that, right? That's something that I would like to see, and something that I'll be paying attention to. Maybe this trend line can be a good bias, can be a good indication. That's why I have some lows along the way as well. So that is something to pay attention. But yes, overall, I'll be surprised if S&P doesn't take this highs and it doesn't get closer to that level. This level that NASDAQ is already kind of reacting from, right? NASDAQ already broke these highs and it's a little bit higher in that spectrum, right? Because this is where we are. So NASDAQ already broke that one. So it's kind of a little bit leading towards what S&P is doing. NASDAQ, opposite to S&P, indeed reacted from the zone where it should in there. After taking that low, it reacted from where it should, so we don't really need new highs on NASDAQ. And we're starting to have a little bit retracement. Again, it's still nothing special in there. No, not exactly trend line in here. We do manage to break below this demand zone that managed to break these highs. So now we are reacting from this previous level of support resistance. Fair enough, there's maybe even a little bit lower that price could go to after reacting a little bit from these levels. Yeah, somewhere in here, it actually maybe looks nice. Or eventually you can navigate even towards to this level in here. And let's see how price eventually is going to react from that level. Now we do have a nice little range in here, and somewhere in there's maybe still orders to maybe attempt to for a sell. Kind of broke it, right? We managed to break this low. Now managed to break this low in here, so somewhere in there can still be interesting. This side looks like never really reacted from that extreme. So yes, I may still be open to the idea of seeing S&P kind of being respected somewhere in there. However, in the bigger picture, and looking at that highs from August, price for now pausing here, and I think there's maybe a little bit more room upwards. So we may kind of start to create that range in here a little bit, maybe manage to break new lows, and then maybe we can finally do that and start moving forward after that, maybe going all the way there, and then even breaking this level, go up one more time, and then kind of just resume the move down. So we may start having something like this happening on whatever then on NASDAQ. Looking a little bit more inside here, is there anything that's still fresh? Is this level still fresh? That high never really touched it, so maybe this can be the ultimate level for the NASDAQ to go to. There's of course this extreme in here. This is basically where price I think reacted from so far at this point, which was a good level in there. So that's okay. This level in here has already been taken, so maybe we can actually anticipate then eventually for price to go above these highs in here. Kind of this left shoulder has already been taken by all these highs. I start to move down after that. Oh, we'll see. But yes, so far in here can still be an interesting level. Yeah, just pay attention as well if you start managing to break lows on the way up, as I mentioned. So far, this one's been respected, it's been taken. Let's see if you continue to move upwards. Eventually, I would like to see some kind of lows being broken before you get there. Yeah, that's one of the best clues that you can see is lows being broken on the way up, showing indication that price wants to start moving to the downside. And then you can go to DAX. Right, DAX is an interesting one. So if you guys remember, I've been looking for price to kind of fake out these highs for a while and then react from that daily level that was kind of still fresh, then all the way to the extreme of the level. Really nice level, really nice zone in here. You kind of had this left shoulder as well, and then you kind of have this supply in there. Makes it kind of a interesting quasi-mode overall. And price reacted from there. And now we managed to break a little bit of this structure. And all this was compressed. So this was a nice zone to look for a target at this compression zone. So let's see now what's going to happen next. So this is what we had in here, and yes, this is a good level to look for a target. We didn't manage to break below this low. If you do had, in my opinion, all the way until here, if you had broken below, may open a little bit more space for price to then go to the downside. Of course, you could expect maybe some kind of retracement, and then maybe somewhere from here, we could still look for that move down, but we, in my opinion, didn't really broke this compression. So we had this compression, that was a nice target, but we respected the extreme of it. So around these levels is usually when you want to see price eventually makes the decision. It respects it, if it respects it, maybe continuation to the upside and may create new highs. If it breaks it, it may open the door then to look for even further move, for a further move to the downside. And you could actually even have all this retracement in here. So yeah, so let's see what's going to happen on the DAX. That reaction from the daily time frame, that kind of happened. Okay. Hey Faden, how are you, man? All good? Just on time, man. Let's try to find some good levels in here. Yes, overall, in the bigger picture, there's maybe still some opportunities in here. Even though the way price moved away, it was kind of a little bit in compression. This could have been a really nice entry when you had this break of this low, retest of this level. But there's maybe still something in here on DAX that we can take advantage of. I will be definitely paying attention to the type of approach that you're going to have towards these highs. Again, if you start moving like this and you break that, for example, this low, and then price kind of continues to go, creates a little bit of a fake structure in there, and finally kind of moves like this, maybe that can be a nice opportunity to still look for that sell opportunity in here. So that's something that I'll be paying attention to. However, I'm a little bit cautious that we never managed to break these lows in there. So yeah, that's something to look for. So yes, on the DAX we are literally keep moving upwards, approaching this double top that we have in here at these all-time highs in there. So it's going to be interesting to see. This level in here looks interesting as well, all the way this extreme. But if you do get there, let's see what's going to happen if you do get there, or maybe even this one is in here also may look still interesting. Yep, now that I'm looking at it, we can see that we have this week's basically where price is reacting, and maybe that level actually can be the good zone to look for. An entry. Yep, it looks like a still nice zone because these levels never reacted from there. The high where we are kind of looking for at this point never really reacted from there. Do have that extreme in there. We kind of from here managed to go all the way down and break all these lows, all this compression in here. Price never really retraced towards that level. We kind of have this high has been taken. I don't have more historical data to go there. Yep. Maybe that kind of starts to be my favorite zone. So I don't mind to see then it would make sense then for price to create maybe a new high from this level. Maybe looking like it's being respected and eventually can have that extra high being created in here. All right, it's going to be interesting to see on the DAX what's going to happen. Just setting up a few alerts in there. Yeah, man, I'm good as well. I'm good. Do you look at DAX, Faden? Is it something that you pay attention to or not? I think you did. I think you were looking at it. Yeah. Now we may have the retracement towards this level. Of course, we may have still in here. So let's see how price is going to continue to move higher. Then we, again, if you do break that low, yeah, I haven't looked at the indices lately. Yeah. Bigger picture, I think we might be close to a potential interesting setup in here. Of course, the double top in here is quite attractive. So we may even have that final fake out before moving all the way down. How this move from that level, it was really nice. Even though we kind of respected now this previous level support resistance in here, but we did manage to break out this structure. So maybe next to be somewhere in there, or even actually this low in there. Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. If we manage to break that low on the daily time frames, we managed to break actually a daily low. Most likely it was this one. Yep, we most likely have managed to break this daily low. Oh yeah, let's see. It's going to be another one that I'll be paying attention to see if we do have some good opportunities to look for any type of reversals. And then we have the Dow, right? Dow is something that we've been looking for as well. Price broke the high and it just continues to go higher. That's basically what you're having in here. So let's see until where Dow wants to go to. My prediction on Dow, kind of, since it reaches target in here, I'll be waiting and see how price is going to eventually react when it gets maybe closer to this structure, or start having a little bit more of a bias if you start breaking some lows as price continues to move upwards. Yeah, that one is broken. Maybe something in here just not that relevant. Maybe can go a little bit closer to this range again in here. And there's even the potential of maybe going all the way until here, or even fake out this high and even go a little bit higher than that. Because this high, even though it created really nicely from that level, when it took out liquidity from these highs, I may not have it actually reached the extreme in here. So maybe that can still be in place or in play in here on the Dow. Yeah. Euro index just continues to be in this weird range, right? Yes, we managed to break below that. Price went all the way down. It reached kind of his next target, which was around this demand zone. Yeah, I do remember that I was looking for price to go a little bit lower than this, because this was already kind of a break in there. Maybe that's going to be just for the future. Let's see. For now, we kind of managed to break this low, but price just respected straight away the level. Now he's respecting this level as well. So what I mentioned, I think last week, is the scenario where by any chance, if we do create a new high, I'm still not going to 100% turn bullish straight away, because in the bigger picture, I think we may still have, or still reacting from a good level in here. So I could still see price breaking out this high and still going towards that level, and after that maybe moving to the downside. So by any chance, if you still do that, maybe you can still then continue to do this in here. But you managed to break these lows. But if you do kind of break above this level, then kind of I'm looking for price to go a little bit higher, 104, 1041, not 104. A little bit maybe somewhere in there, and there's maybe even the potential to go even then higher, all the way above that level. And let's see if we do break above this high, somewhere in here, there's maybe still chance for price to continue to move forward. Yeah, this was a really nice demand zone, to be honest. It was literally, it's visible everywhere. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen on the euro index. It's within these ranges. Price kind of reacted already a little bit from that level. The extreme in there, a little bit of this level in here. Yep, let's see. The yen index. This is a nice one. This is literally trading in the middle of the middle, right? Okay, we kind of consider this level, and kind of just from here to here, and even now from here to here. It's kind of in the middle of basically every single one of these rectangles in here. So this was a nice zone where price kind of reacted from, like the base of this level. Is this the final destination? Our price wants to go back all the way through here. Maybe we did manage to break this low, so I'm kind of still open, looking for the potential of price. Wanted to go a little bit further down, at least maybe closer to this, somewhere to these levels in here. Yes, we did reacted quite nicely from this level in here on the left side. But overall, I would still like to see eventually yen index to go a little bit more further down. Is it going to go from here? Is this now the new high? For the moment, and price kind of is going to move down. We'll see. This is a nice extreme. All this was compressed, as you could, not this one. As you can see in here, all this was compressed. Basically, price now it's reaching its own target, because this is basically the level that it matters in here. Maybe starting from this low in here, it's kind of maybe where it matters. And then you have this demand zone in here, and basically maybe that's where price wants to go to, right in there. On the other hand, we are also kind of moving in this kind of compression. I do have this level in here. Basically the base of this one was already retested by that one. Yep, so now we have this next zone. So we fake out already this highs, so you may have something like this continue to happen, and you may go all the way closer to this level, and then eventually you can fake out this below to go a little bit lower. So we'll see. Faiden, what are you looking for on dollar yen or on the yen pairs? Are you looking for this yen index to continue to move down, which kind of would lead the yen pairs to go higher, or the opposite? This was a nice zone. You can see kind of this decision in here kind of had a bit of this compression, and you had this break below, kind of the base drop, right? Kind of that terminology that everyone uses, or many people use. We do left kind of behind a little bit this supply level, and we just react from this one that was created in alignment with that low that was broken. You want to see dollar yen to test to go lower. You want to see these guys a little bit to go higher. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, maybe can eventually go a little bit lower in here, and then maybe resume the move to the upside, or even just keep respecting maybe this level in here. I wouldn't mind to see price going a little bit lower. Again, I still would like to see price going there, but now price, since it's kind of in the middle, price could go even all the way up before maybe making that move down. Though it's a good level, it's at a good level to go lower to. Yeah, it's not clear. It's a little bit in the middle. Yeah, let's take a look at the individual Set currency pairs. Yeah. So let's start with euro, as always. What you have in here? Actually, sold it in there. Yeah, this was the level that I mentioned. I think I had this all marked since a while. Yeah, this was never really reacted from there, and apparently there you go. Actually, how the move on the euro. Looking at 1 minute time frame, and this is actually, especially if you look at the tick chart, it's incredible. Like, even when there's maybe less participants in the market in this big news, it's even more clear to see where actually price goes and reacts from. So initially it reacted from literally the base of literally the base of this move upwards in here, which was the last extreme of the level. It was inside there. It was inside here, because this was, they never really reacted from there. So this was the last extreme zone on the euro, and that's literally where initially price reacted from with the news. But this big spike straight away, all the way to touch exactly to the pip. In there, price went all the way back up. So price went down, touched this level all the way back up to retest this supply level, and now yes, it went all the way down again. To now react from the next level that is still fresh, which is literally this level in here. This was never really reacted from them, and that's kind of where euro end up reacting from. And then it went all the way back up, retest again the levels, and let's see what's going to happen next, literally. So let's see what's going to happen next. Went all the way up in here, demand all the way back in here, not supply. Let's see what hell the euro is going to do. But it's nice to see, right? To study the levels, and if you want to get used to identify exactly where is the price pinpoints and touches with precision. Yeah, study where the levels are being reacted from. This was a big miss for me, which is kind of led me a little bit upset on the euro. The one from this level. I was looking at this range. This is what I wanted to see being taken. When I saw this high in here, I didn't consider it immediately as an engulf upwards, even though we managed to break a little bit of this double top in here. We managed to break a little bit as well, so kind of expecting price eventually to go lower. Is a typical move. Right, this will manage starts to give indication that it wants to go down, but price before that just literally goes up, spikes, breaks its highs. If I was just looking at in here, yeah, that would definitely be an engulf up. But the problem is I was looking a little bit more to the left as well, and this was the range. Not even this high managed to break in here. I think it even respected that level. So yeah, I wanted really to see this level being taken, and that would be considered for me as an engulf up, because I noticed that the left shoulder itself from these lows in here was still fresh, and the demand actually was still fresh. So I completely ignored everything in here to look for a long because of this one that I didn't consider it in the moment as an engulf upwards. But that was a big miss for me, because it would have been a really good long opportunity on the euro. Yeah. So Fed is saying I would like 0.9557 0.9557. So one is in here all the way to 57. Yep, somewhere in here. So looking at the euro, and now I can look a little bit at the bigger picture, and I can actually literally start deleting some of these zones in here. Instead that one, delete this one, okay. So looking at the euro, as I was mentioning as well, in terms of looking for price to go a little bit higher, we haven't really had any proper break of a low before, and this was actually the first one. Actually, when you had this move to downside, this was the first proper engulf down, and then that kind of start opening the door to go down. Now, particularly, now similar to the dollar, we do have all this structure, right? So we have already all these left shoulders in here. This was kind of a nice reaction towards a little bit of that level, and you have this turn. So this may be actually start to look like again a nice phase of price moving down. We may even go similar to the dollar index that I mentioned. So dollar index is the opposite. Now creates a lot of range, it starts moving higher, right? And this range looks like it's holding price. And now maybe somewhere in here can be a good level for price eventually to go, fake out all this level and move down, right? Fake out all this structure, which can be a little bit similar to this, right? Eventually we can fake out all this structure now on the euro, which is the opposite. Dollar index as a long, euro kind of as a short opportunity. And we have already kind of this higher time frame good structure in here to create accumulate liquidity. It's another one that we had a strong move upwards, just similar to dollar index that we had a strong move down. Now my thing with the euro and a little bit with the dollar is that I would like to see price actually going a little bit higher. Price kind of paused a little bit kind of in the middle of nothing without really reaching the other extreme of the zone. Right, even on the daily it's a little bit higher. It's kind of in between this level and that level. So eventually I would like to see price actually touching one of those levels a little bit higher before the move down. And we had quite a few highs being created over this week as well. In here we have one, the second one, this was a nice entry, and then we had even the last one. When you had this one, actually that's when I got short under it as a trend continuation in there. Basically price just retested the zone where I entered, which was in here. When you had, yeah, I got short in here, right? Starting to pay attention more to tick charts by using CTrader, just for the execution. For this analysis I still use MT4, but yes, that was a really nice zone, and I kind of got short in there after I noticed that this high. I was not really biased on the euro. I would be totally okay if you do have kind of that extra leg up. I noticed the engulf to downside, so eventually I would like to see price going down. But initially with this news, I was not biased at all in terms of I could see price going upwards, price could respect this level, whatever it wanted to be. But when I saw this level being respected and when it kind of managed to break these lows, that's when I kind of start to look for the potential opportunity for that trend continuation setup. That's the kind of the move that I got in on the euro. And basically price just retested that level in here on Thursday. Yeah, so overall, again, it starts to be super interesting. My only concern is I would like to see even price going a little bit higher, touching that level before the final turn. In terms of the level that you are mentioning it, yeah, maybe. So we're talking about this level in here, like 1095. Yeah, you could retrace all the way down. We could literally retrace all the way. I'm mentioning about 06507 for the retracement. 065 somewhere in here. Yeah, I could. Now I have this is just another concern in here. So dollar index broke the highs respective to this 6th of January. Euro respected the lows. That's a little bit of a concern as well on the euro. And it's my only concern of looking for a proper sell from here. It's because we never managed to break these lows. I would definitely have preferred to see these lows being broken, same way that dollar index broke the highs, in order to then look for that major turn. So it may be weird enough to even look for a new high on the euro. We kind of are reacting up, only from the base of this. There's maybe all the way until there that we can go to 1.11. on the euro, somewhere in there, or even somewhere in here first as well, that you may want to go to. So yeah, because looking at the daily time frame, if you just look at this, this is the beginning of all this move up, and we have all this compression. Okay, fair enough. We have that move upwards, and we actually managed to break out this structure in here, so that was quite nice. And then price went all the way down, but we respected this demand zone, so we never managed to break this demand zone in here, right? So looking at the daily time frame, for me to become super bearish in here, I would definitely prefer to see this one being taken, and it was not. It was actually respected almost 3 times, which makes it a little bit strong. We are not yet breaking proper any lows in here. This may be an interesting level on the daily. So let's see what's going to happen on the euro in the bigger picture. Are we going to actually have the bigger turn from here all the way down, or are we going to? We could create some kind of a double top in here for a moment, and then kind of make that one. This is kind of high isolated, so we can actually track a lot of liquidity from this high if you want to actually go a little bit higher and then turn. This looks like it's a little bit isolated, this high at this point. By isolated, I mean kind of it's alone, like there's nothing else close by to it. Like what did this high took the liquidity from on the left side? Just looking at this daily time frame, nothing much. And what all this structure, that was a really big move. So this high can actually be the fake high to eventually work as liquidity for any turn. Yeah, interesting levels in here on the euro. Let's see how everything's going. That was a really higher time frame move. Just something to be aware of. Yeah, that level in here, 1.086. That was a daily level in there. Basically, we had this move down, and basically this level is still fresh. So that was a nice daily level, something just to pay attention to in the future. In there, it actually looks nice. Yeah, it still looks nice in here. Yeah, let's see. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen on the euro. Definitely, I still like there can be something in here, so we kind of managed to break these lows now. If this was a little bit of a confirmation of a goof down, now we have kind of that second one, and I do like to see something like this. So we had the first break of a low, and I kind of have a second break of a low. So I definitely do like to see something like that. There's maybe even something in here that we can hold for a little bit, maybe Monday, a little bit of Tuesday, before kind of we have that final move up to happen. Let's see, we can even go all the way now to respect this level. Let's see what the euro is going to be doing. So yes, there's maybe even a potential short opportunity somewhere in here, then kind of somewhere a little bit higher than that as well. So yeah, let's see what the euro is going to do. Pound keeps going lower, right? And we finally managed to break this low, which is quite an important structure that we just took. That's a good one. So pound had taken out those highs. No, the pound is a little bit weird. Yes, we do have a little bit of this structure. I'm not the biggest fan of even where price kind of is reacting to on the left side. We were indeed looking eventually for price to take these highs in here and maybe turn a little bit. And you can over doing that. This was a nice one during the news. The price went all the way to it was literally way too quick, too fast. And yeah, since we kind of broken that level, opening door, we find out kind of reach his target initially, and then we just continue to move down. And this is another typical move from that pound likes to do, just kind of moving in this kind of compression way, going all the way up, respecting kind of next level, just moving down. So we kind of managed to break this flow. Maybe next destination can be somewhere in there. But yeah, bigger picture, I'm not sure exactly where we are at. We could see maybe price going up higher a little bit. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen on the pound. It's just something to look for. Do you have Pedro, do you have any bias on the pound? Mention on euro 854 85 854. Yeah, in here, yeah, it's close to the other zone as well. Yeah, one of these two levels on the daily, kind of this level that I have in here, it's a little bit I do like the kind of the openings of the candles, and this may be a little bit of this one. Yeah, both of them kind of have these lows. Maybe one of these two could work a little bit as a potential reaction on the euro. This one kind of work quite nicely as well. Yeah, maybe that one could be interesting. It's just set the buy words and see how price eventually goes and reacts from there. Yeah, to go a little bit lower on the pound, right? Pound does like to kind of move in that way. Maybe this level can be still interesting above these highs. Let me just see on the higher time frame. Yeah, it may still work quite nicely. Price was going up. That's that move upwards and big strong rejection straight away. And something in here. This I never really got there, just the buys of it. So it makes it interesting to look for a potential reaction from that level. Looking left. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in there. Price kind of reacted from that level, reacted from this level. Yeah, we'll see. Aussie. Aussie, it's an interesting one. Kind of, I think we mentioned last time, right? Where's price last time? Right, price was still in here, kind of looking to see if price would go further down below this level or not. End up respecting this level, and it moved to the upside, right? So, and on the Aussie, I was literally looking for price. Personally, I was looking for price to go here, but you were aware of these lows as well. And that's kind of where price reacted to. I was definitely waiting a bit more higher, but price just reacted from there. They decided, it was with the news, they decided to keep the rate unchanged. So 360%. They joined kind of Canada's approach of not hiking anymore. We'll see in the future what's going to happen. But yes, that's the approach now in Australia. And after that, we saw price moving to the downside. As you could see, CAD Aussie has been a little bit weaker comparing with euro, with pound, for example. Like both of them kind of went all the way close to those levels from February, and Aussie, it's nowhere near close to that level. It literally just retraced a little bit, a lot of compression here, no proper momentum to the upside. So by any chance, when the dollar kind of changes and maybe go higher, maybe Aussie is going to be one of the strongest to move further down. We'll see. But yes, breaking these highs doesn't really mean that much. I was looking literally for more of this structure in order to can work quite nicely as a continuation. We managed to break these lows. All this looks a lot compressed in here. There is something still in there to hold price up. but a lot of it looks compressed, so eventually we may just continue to move down, and they may get closer to that level on the Aussie. Because yes, we do broke this, managed to break these lows in here, so eventually we may resume the move down in there. But let's see, on the Aussie, it was a nice reaction there with some news as well towards this level. Yeah, basically all the moves happen overnight on the Aussie in here. You are talking about KU at 494. Is that for? Is it somewhere in here? Yeah. However, on the, unless you are seeing something on the tick charts that yeah, you have this level. Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it can be. I do like it. You can take all these highs. That can be something. First, maybe that level. Yeah, maybe it's actually going to move this one a little bit further down. Maybe, yeah, why not? We have all this structure. Actually, nice supply level in there. Yeah, it can be interesting. Yeah, it's a nice level. It's another one that you have been following, right? Potentially, eventually move to the downside. Price has been just respecting the levels. Respected that level, we kind of managed to break that one. Respected the demand zone. So again, similar to, I don't remember now the chart that I mentioned, maybe the euro. Yeah, by not breaking this level, kind of eventually we can expect new highs being created, and now we kind of are within this range, right? It's approaching in a really interesting way. Strong moves up, but also strong move down. Let's see how Euro Aussie eventually is going to react from here, right? We are literally at these highs. Are you going to break these highs and maybe get even closer a little bit to that level? That's kind of something to pay attention to. We're going to kind of fake out this high first before having some kind of big reversal happening on the Euro Aussie. Are we going to respect this high? That's kind of where we are in terms of this question mark. We managed to break a little bit below this low, and we have these ones that can work as interesting. What was it under the high time frame? Okay, 6 highs. Okay, got it. Yeah, I've worked already in here. Let's see what's going to happen on the Euro Aussie. Just another one to keep an eye on. Eventually, we can have that turn in here. So dollar yen, yeah, dollar yen respected this level and starts to move higher. We do have kind of this demand zone in here. Yes, we may retest these levels. Let's see. Again, it's quite similar to the yen index, a little bit in the middle. So we respected that level. It went higher. It was another really strong level. It was respected in here. Nice zone in there. Another good news. Nice moves higher in here. We may manage to break these lows, which can start maybe opening the door a little bit for a move down. Yeah, open to the potential or possibility of seeing price going retesting that level. But never managed to break this one, so we'll see. Literally, it's in the middle. It's literally in the middle. When it's in the middle, it can go anywhere. It can go anywhere. We managed to respect those highs. Again, we managed to break this wall, so I'm still open to the possibility eventually for price to go a little bit towards that level. So this is going to be from here. This price going to just eventually continue to move down and eventually reach this level. Something to look at. Meanwhile, we do have this one zone created in there. With J, we are looking at 130.85. Yeah, I remember. It was this one, right? Yeah, the low in here. Yeah, it can be interesting. Price just stopped at the top of the range. So it's going to be interesting to see if that level at the low is still going to be respected in the future. Yeah. Euro yen. We broke this low, so for me kind of opens a little bit more the room to the downside. We may go once again closer to these highs. This was a really extreme level in there that was respected. So curious to see how price eventually is going to react from somewhere in here. Now we created this demand zone, so let's see also how price is going to react from this level in here. Are we going to respect it or not? Going to continue to move to the upside. Let's see. Eventually maybe price could retrace. I have a little bit more of a deep retracement. Price can even just retest this level, for example. It can be interesting. Yeah, you could maybe take this high. From there, maybe reaching the move down. Yeah, we'll see. It's kind of already retested that level all the way down. It's a little bit weird. The base of this has been touched in there, so maybe the extreme of this can still work quite nicely. Thanks, Biden. Yeah, man, go enjoy your Saturday. Go enjoy your Saturday, man. We'll talk during the week. So, yeah, let's see how Euro Yen maybe can react from this level. Can be interesting, to be honest. Let's see. Let's see how price is going to react from there. Next, pound yen as well, kind of really interesting move. When it took these highs, we reacted all the way from still this level in there. It's a nice reversal. We managed to break these lows now. Kind of, and we had kind of all this compression, but this time price actually broke the lows. Kind of a little bit different from the dollar, from the DAX. So we'll see if we're going to go down from this or going to go a little bit higher, closer to that level before we do have that maybe that continuation to the downside. So let's see what's going to happen in here. We are kind of creating this green line in there. And then we have CAD, right? CAD, it was another one that we will start to look for that reversal. We were paying attention to, so we wanted to see price moving down. So all this was compressed, and we were looking for price to go below these lows. And we talked about this level, somewhere in here. Yes, price never really got there. So price kind of reacted from here, from this line, from those highs in there. Never really got closer to this level, and a little bit similar to some of the pairs. I would have liked to see price going a little bit lower. This is one of the zones that I'm paying attention to, which is this highs. Kind of, if you break above this highs, maybe there's more room to the upside. We have 100%, as you can see, this strong compression. And this is what I wanted to mention regarding the key M zones, which is quite nice, right? So we have maybe 5 minutes. Right, we have that fake out. So we noticed that it was another one that we were looking at it. You go upwards, and then we had kind of just fake out the lows, and then maybe to resume down, right? So I just wanted to see this low, literally going a little bit lower towards that level that I had, that I'm interested in. But now, key M zone, right? This low managed to break the highs, price fake out, and then price goes to that level. This new one, now fake out, goes higher, all the way to the extreme, boom, go upwards. And you cannot just keep moving like that along the way. And you have kind of this strong compression, or strong trend line, kind of compression as well. But eventually, if we do turn, maybe they can be interesting. This level can be interesting as well. So I think there's maybe another leg down on the CAD, maybe to occur, or by any chance, if you manage to just go like that in this compression way, and all of a sudden a strong move up, which would be interesting if that would happen. Yeah, all this looks has been taken a lot in there. Yeah, so let's see what CAD is going to do. Something that we're looking for sure is eventually to start looking for this retracement. Now, is this low the final destination, or price wants to go a little bit lower? I'm literally open to that potential possibility of looking for price to go a little bit lower in there. So maybe we can have another leg down on the cut, and this can be maybe an easy trade because all this is compressed, almost all of it is compressed. So eventually we can maybe feel everything all the way until close to the lows. Just pay attention to it. Maybe that can be one good trade to take this week in here. Euro CAD, something to look for as well. It's quite interesting. This is a nice reaction from that level. We are in this compression zone as well. Euro CAD is kind of reacting from an interesting level on the higher time frame in here. I think we had managed to break that low before, something like that. There was some kind of break in there. We have all this compression. Paying attention, of course, to see how price for now reacting and bouncing from here. If we're going to have something like this happening or not, and eventually we can even have a really good or interesting setup opportunity on the CAD. For now, this level looks like it was a strong previous level support resistance as well, all the way from the past, which is basically where price is reacting. But yes, we are reacting from this level. It's maybe a little bit higher than that to look for. This level is amazing eventually, but for now, let's see how price is going to react eventually when it gets to this level. This level in here, it's still, this is super obvious level of supply. As you can see, there's maybe even something at these highs in here that price could go to. Within all this range of this high, there's maybe these two levels that are still fresh. This one looks like, and maybe that one, the extreme in there. This one actually broke these lows. So somewhere in here could be interesting, somewhere in there could be interesting, somewhere in there could be interesting, and maybe somewhere in here we still hold price down as well a little bit. Or can use as a break to the upside of maybe breaking these lows. Let's just bounce a little bit and maybe just retest some structure and continue to go higher. So maybe the target from here, it can be just a little bit small, even maybe the same thing from here, maybe from here just towards this level and then continue to move higher until we may get closer to this to these highs in here. So let's see what the Euro CAD is going to do. Eventually we may get a really good opportunity to look for a good trade on the CAD. And dollar franc Swiss. this one kind of pissed me off a little bit over the week with the news, right? If you've been following me for a while, yes, I was a little bit open to the possibility of looking for price to maybe still respect this level, even though this level top is quite relevant, right? At least we should have kind of seen this high breaking a little bit high, even if it wanted to move to the downside, work as an engulf upwards. By respecting it, it kind of makes it a strong high automatically. And yes, and if you remember from the bigger picture, we were indeed looking for something like this to happen. I need to go to the daily. Okay, let's go to daily. We had all these compressions all the way till here. Kind of we were looking for price to break the 12 and eventually fill out this compression zone. So we kind of pausing there, but the final zone, if you remember, it was below this wall, right? It was this demand zone, something that we have been looking for, that I mentioned a long time ago, to be honest, all the way since we are still kind of trading somewhere in here, or when you had that kind of this big move to the downside that I mentioned that, yes, all this looks a lot of compression. This can be some reaction, but overall, I'm actually looking for price to go towards to this demand zone in there. That's basically where price spiked through or to last week. Again, I think it was Wednesday. Yes, it was Wednesday. So, yeah, not exactly a good chance to enter after that. So, kind of missed out that opportunity. We managed now to break these highs, so that's a good sign. Now, one of the things usually happens when you do have kind of such a strong spike like that. Is this enough to kind of fill out the orders and price can continue to move down? More often than not, yes, you do have kind of all this kind of previous highs in here, basically where price is reacting from. But usually we either kind of get really close to that level. For example, now that you create out this zone, maybe you can go a little bit closer and just do something like this without the need of breaking or creating a new low. Otherwise, you may actually kind of going to be use this low kind of to attract orders, and then kind of may have that fake out, one more extra fake out, still into the same demand zone on the left, and then maybe have that turn to the upside. So yes, going to be curious to see how price is going to react somewhere close to this in between these levels, and maybe take that level and then maybe go higher after that. We also can use maybe this low eventually as a level to look for a reaction for price to go higher where this line is. So yeah, create this mid-range in here. Good. Don't forget to maybe do this, and then you can move higher after that. So let's see our Frank Swiss, another one that can be close to this to happen. Yeah. Gold, what gold has been doing? Gold moved to the downside, right? So it went all the way up, reacted a little bit from a good level in there, attract this liquidity. Gold was actually a nice setup. We have this compression, something that we want to see. Again, a strong move up, then reverse. We even managed to break this trend line even before we make that final move up. We broke the low, and then during the news, broke the low, and then during the news price retested, and it went all the way down. Two zones where usually price could react from, and we should expect price to react from there. Of course, first visual support resistance, and then kind of where is that last level of supply within this range in here that price broke through, and that kind of where price eventually now reacted from. And then next level, maybe retest of the demand zone itself of all this move higher. So maybe that's where gold may go towards to. Everything in here was kind of respected. I was looking for gold to go actually a little bit higher last Thursday. The approach was really nice. Again, a really nice approach in there. Nice compression, and then the move down. There may be even still opportunities to look for shorts on the retest of this size. Of course, it's going to matter where this low is going to be reacting from, somewhere in there or not. Is it going to break some level or not? So that can be something to pay attention to. Yeah, where are we reacting? Which one is it? Let's delete some of this stuff so it can help me to understand exactly where we are reacting from, which is the base of this, right? Yeah, a little bit of the base. There's maybe a little bit more room to the upside on gold, and don't forget to have that double top on the daily time frame, kind of that historical high at 2070 something. So yes, there's still the chance for gold also to continue to move a little bit higher in there. So interesting levels in here. Let's see. That I believe there's going to be some opportunities to go either long or short on gold. Yeah, oil, can even look at oil. Oil was the biggest surprise over the weekend, right? When the few OPEC members decided to cut production. Maybe roughly 1.6 million barrels a day. And we had that massive gap over the weekend, all the way from 75 to basically 81. And we reached actually the supply, the last supply that was still fresh within this range that we have been trading for the last months. So yeah, that's kind of where we were. We're trading kind of within here. We managed to break that those lows. Reacted from the extreme of that level, really nice zone in there, and now it kind of moved higher, and we reached kind of one of these first targets in here. Now, are you going to break the highs? What are you going to be doing first? That's a good question, right? Are you going to break the highs and then kind of fill the gap? Are you going to fill the gap straight away? We never managed to break this low over this week, so we're kind of just in here. Eventually, we're going to break one of these two zones. Yeah, and maybe the gap can be filled even before maybe price wants to move higher. So we are back at this range. Let's see what's going to happen and if there's going to be any big catalyst affecting oil in here. And then you have BTC and Ethereum, right? So as I mentioned, we are approaching this really important level, 29-30k mark. It is important. Please allow support resistance as well, all the way back from 2021, and we start having this kind of behavior, maybe. So we respected another one, kind of high, take out left shoulder, new left shoulders, even try different cover, new left shoulders, out, go there, and go down again, kind of keep looking for those levels. It's quite interesting. Nevertheless, maybe there's still this extreme in here that maybe price can go to. We can even fake out these highs one more time if you go higher. There's maybe now some new levels as well that price can respect in there. Managed to break a little bit these lows, price went all the way down there. I was looking for price to go a little bit lower. One of these levels is also still fresh. Let's see if we are not going to be trading within this range for the next days or even weeks, and which levels are going to be broken, which levels are going to be broken first as well. That can maybe give you a good indication. Yep, let's see. As I mentioned, kind of we can have still this range in here, the same way that even if you do break below these lows, this 25k mark, in my opinion, can be quite important. Because even if you break below these lows, it may not kind of completely give a bearish signal, because this level can still hold and continue to push price higher, right? This is an important zone in here on BTC. By any chance, if you do go higher in here, manage to break these highs, kind of opening door a little bit more for the upside, and if you by any chance then retrace all the way through, not take these lows, yeah, that could be maybe a great level to look for the continuation to the upside. So again, keeping an eye on these levels, which one is going to be broken first, second, or whatsoever. It's something important to look for. And Ethereum, right, went all the way, right? We were creating all this range. It was starting to be very predictable that eventually it would break to the upside after kind of respecting this level. kind of the tendency was there. Yes, price respected this vast supply within this this spike in here. You can see the level where price kind of reacted from. Nevertheless, I would have preferred, or I'm still looking for price maybe to go a little bit higher to 1967, something like that. Let's see if how this 2K mark is going to hold to the downside. I reacted from here. It's a little bit still of space towards this level. The eventually could go there. Maybe it created now a little bit of distraction. We did manage to break now this low, which can be interesting, right? We had out this structure, price break it. Kind of there was a little bit of a structure being created in here, something that has been kind of a little bit respected. It's another one, right? And goes down, goes up, goes there, kind of moves down. Break that. We do have this demand zone now. Let's see if by any chance we start having a little bit of a move down, kind of which we managed to break this level. Price can maybe go a little bit higher, then go down. I'm still open to the possibility again of price faking out that highs, going a little bit higher than that. And let's see if after that we can have the reversal happening. Right, yeah, this can be the new structure. After this level, kind of respected it. It's going to be interesting to see what price is going to do in there. Yeah. Basically, that's it for me, guys. Yeah, we are getting closer, or we are at interesting levels, and the way price is moving, it can start giving some clues that we may be close to a reversal. It doesn't mean that the lower lows or higher highs are in place just yet, but it may get close to that level. For me, maybe we are still kind of trading in some kind of compression way. Euro can be actually getting really close in there, but maybe this is still kind of compression way until we finally have that final turn occurring, getting a little bit higher than that or closer to that level. We will see. Dollar the same thing, euro, the indices also, even Ethereum and Bitcoin. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Thank you, guys. Wish you everyone a great weekend. I'll be back next Saturday. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Obrigado.